This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. WFO. Joe Castello back with you. That's right. We are still working on our 2020 Lucas Oil Series champion interviews, and I am super excited about today's show. Meyer-Lingner. Megan Meyer got married last year. All kinds of great news. Back-to-back top alcohol champion is going to be joining us just seconds from now. So if you're a fan of Megan, and I know you are, you're going to want to hang out for this one, share, start a watch party, be ready, because we're going to delve into like life beyond. She retired. She did the mic drop and walked off the stage, except is she really off the stage? That is the question. We'll be speaking with Megan just seconds from now. Before we do, though, I want to get everybody up to speed on a couple of things. First of all, we dropped our video from this past weekend bracket racing. I brought my street car out and did sportsman quarter mile bracket racing. The whole idea was just to get people a little bit, inspired to go out and participate. Simple as that. My efforts might have been futile, but I had fun. And as this season comes along, we want you to go out and participate. So check out the video. It's on our YouTube page. You can find it on WFOradio.com and watch on YouTube. And I've been promising, more importantly, I have been promising for a long time, YouTube-specific content. Like we do something specific for YouTube, whereas right now this is going out to Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and everywhere we can send it, and that's great. But we need you to go onto the YouTube and subscribe and click the bell and be ready, just so I can emulate Megan and become like an influencer. That's what I want to do. So go to the YouTube and follow along, subscribe, click the bell. Watch me race. I race a Tesla Model 3. I race against the Camaro ZL1. I race against the Dodge Challenger. I'm racing against a bunch of different stuff, modern muscle cars, and I'm trying to bring those casual observers in. We need more bracket racers, baby. That's what we need. All right, I want to tell you about the people who make it all possible. Just recorded a new episode of Hidden Horsepower with Jake Raby, who does Porsches and air-cooled stuff. It's going to be very interesting, learning about like sumo bore and all kinds of different coatings on the inside of the cylinders, etc. But for your purposes as drag racers, just go to TotalSeal.com and find out why they are the best in the business. You can pick up the podcast there. Lake Speed Jr., Keith Jones, Matt Hartford, that entire team over there has assembled just greatness, and they support WFO. Thank you, guys. TotalSeal.com. And Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, of course, the Dragster Adventure, many programs, very aggressive right here at the start of the season. I got to get Frank on the show soon. It's time for a Frank appearance. FrankHawley.com. Marvin Rodak, Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com. Been a longtime sponsor. Marvin Rodak, 817-924-6821. And I think Megan's got her own coffee sponsor too, like rival stuff. But then again, all coffee is good coffee. Simple as that. And samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. Go to samtech.edu. Nitrofish Racing helps us out with our gear, but you can always check out the WFO store. Just $10. Get yourself a face covering and go WFO. All right, without further ado, let's bring on the champ. She's been coming on the show. I think one of her first interviews was on WFO, and now she's a two-time and back-to-back world champion, Megan Meyer. Megan, welcome back. Congratulations. How are you? Happy New Year. All of that. Everything.
Thank you so much, Joe. I'm so glad to be back on. Yeah, WFO was one of my first interviews I did way back when I was getting my license for Top Alcohol Dragster. And I agree. You should have Frank on the show. I went to Frank Hawley School to get my Super Comp license. And then Gainesville was also where I started licensing for Top Alcohol.
And he's the best. And he's got, obviously the Tony Stewart video, very recent. You go on to be a two-time and back-to-back world champion. And I like to think that my listeners, I just want them to drive a dragster once. That's it. That's the initial hurdle, right? Go out, it's $3.99. Go do the dragster adventure, race against your buddies, brag that you won. But the experience, that's what'll keep them coming back. And so look at you, right? But then again, you were hooked when you were born. Your dad, you had no choice. How is your dad, by the way?
Very good. We've been very busy in the off season getting both of our cars ready again for 2021. We didn't really have to do any chassis work to them, but just refreshing motors, safety, all the race pack stuff, everything like that, getting it all back and ready to go to hit it hard for 2021.
I like it. Okay, so you are the champion, won back-to-back championships. We're going to talk a little bit about that and the specifics, but since it is already 21, let's attack the news of now first. And we've got some other people weighing out there on Facebook. Everybody saying, what's up? Mark saying, what's up? And we love you. And Derek out there, Megan Meyer-Lingner. She'll set me straight if I don't say the name right. I got it right. I got it right. It's everywhere. I get it. And unlike others, my cohorts, we've nailed it first time out. But what is the plan? You said you were going to retire. And you're retiring from driving, but this is your family's racing team. So you're still heavily involved. You're just not going to be chasing a third consecutive championship. What's happening and what are you going to be doing?
Yes, you are right. So right before we won the championship, got married, and then we went on our honeymoon and found out that I am now pregnant, which was the plan. So we are kind of rushing things, but that's the plan. So eventually I will come back to the seat, and we'll just see how long that is. I get asked almost every single day, when am I going to be back?
And when are you going to be back, Megan? When is this going to happen? When?
I wish I could give you an answer because I have no idea. Because I don't know if it's going to be a one and done or if we're going to pop out a handful. We have no idea. So we'll just see how it goes. Take it one at a time.
Baby Meyer on the way. That's awesome. That's exciting. So that's the best news of the show. I knew I had seen a social post about it, but I wanted to hear right from you. But yeah, you didn't do the old let's spend some time being married, having fun kind of thing. But then again, your whole life is pretty much fun. So I can dig that.
Yeah, just go right into it. I've got 9 months to get ready, so we'll see how it goes.
That is awesome. And as far as the handful, I am an only child. I know you obviously have your sister, and I have no advice. I got no advice for you. This is an area where I have nothing to share. I am an only child. I have no children, and I kind of like it that way. So, but I'm going to be having a great time watching you go through it.
Yeah, and I think I wanted to, if we do have more, I know you can't control it, but I would like to have a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
I love having a little sister, but as you know, we are so competitive with each other. And I know we were a handful for my parents. So I'm going to try to see if I can offset that.
Right, exactly. So how do you feel about sleep, Megan? Because from what I hear that the new parents, they don't get any.
We'll see. Sleep is one of the things that has been an effect right now. I haven't had morning sickness. I'm not even really showing anything like that. So, but just my energy is down a little bit, lacking a little bit on sleep. And then I've also noticed it's harder to work out, which has been a real mental challenge for me because I want to keep pushing myself to go further, but I can't. Like I physically can't. So it's right now, I think this first trimester is just all mental. And then after that, you really see all the physical changes.
You are growing a human being. You're creating a new life. You are you're extending the world of drag racing to another generation. You've got big time responsibilities with all of that. I think you're doing a great job. Well, congratulations on that. I think it's great. But I got some shots here, like wedding pictures. From what I saw, amazing stuff. I guess we'll work backwards from that big news you just told us. The wedding, it clearly went well. It was beautiful. It was all over social. You're happy. You've got a child on the way. In 2020, most people will look back and say it's a horrible year, and it was for a lot of people. But little bright spots like yours, you'll look back at 2020, and it'll be a banner year in your life.
Yeah, it was. We didn't start the year off that great for me personally. Our first race of the year is always in Belrose, Louisiana. I lost first round. I think I qualified like 7th or 8th, lost first round. So didn't start the year off that great. Then my next race was Gainesville. And as you know, it was Thursday afternoon. We were in the pits. We just finished getting all set up, got the cars teched in.
Right.
And then I heard Alan on the speaker saying, we've got to leave. The race is canceled. So then it was about 2 months before we actually got to start racing again. And in the summer, we were just doing regional events because that's all that could happen for racing. And then it wasn't until the US Nationals was our first big race of the year. So I only did about 10 races last year. Usually we do about 15 to 17. But as you guys know, we finished on top and everything went in our favor. So very thankful for everything that happened in 2020 for us.
Yes, amazing. And you spent some time with us on our WFO happy hours from a couple of races. The Lone Star Nationals gave us like an in-depth tour of your pit, and you went out and you won the race. You were very helpful to us as we were like launching this streaming side of the WFO podcast. So thank you for that. And, you know, great content, always fun, and we really appreciate it. So let's dial in on the championship in that it was not a foregone conclusion by any means. This was a really hard one, and they always say it's tougher to win again, to go back to back. Like no one lucks into a championship, but you can win once. To win back to back is a totally different thing, and that's what you did. And it seemed to me that your team stepped on the pedal figuratively halfway through the point. Like after we came back, that's where you really accelerated, culminating with that 5:09 record run, shocking record run at the U.S. Nationals.
Yeah. And you know what kind of hurt us in the points is the fact that we skipped Pomona. So Pomona was the first national that you had points for all classes, but especially for top alcohol, because then it wasn't until Indy where you could get more national points. So Callie had won Pomona. We had originally planned on going there with Julie. I was not planning on racing there because it's a race I've never been to other than just working on the cars. But there's some schedule changes and all that with Julie. So we ended up skipping Pomona. And so we didn't have any national points at all until we showed up at Indy and finally got through first round. We had some little issues with the Jigs All-Stars because that was the same weekend and it was right before eliminations for the regular race. And I made a driver error. I had to run my sister first round of the All-Stars.
It's all coming back now. Yes.
Yeah. It was the first time all three of us qualified for the All-Stars. We brought out our third car, which is just our backup car, the one that my dad used to drive. So that was Rachel's car for the weekend. We had to go out and test it that summer because it was over a year since we've drove that car. So it's crazy. We thought the U.S. Nationals was going to be our worst weekend yet because we had all of our crew guy. We had 3 cars there. We had, family and sponsors there, and it was our first national race. And we thought we were just going to fail at everything. But I made a mistake first round, and I will always admit this. I let my sister get in my head. She beat me first round. I forgot to turn the fuel on, which is a rookie mistake. And you wouldn't think a champion would make that mistake. But I did, and it was my last time racing the All-Stars, and so I have to live with that. But we made it up, so we won first round of the U.S. Nationals, and then made it up in second round where we had Jackie and ran the first 5:09 with a 7, and it was crazy because I had no idea. Like I thought it was like a teens run. I knew it was a good pass. I didn't know it was that good until I saw the time slip, and I was like, I still just like, what just happened? So it was really cool that the team was still running by the time we come back on the return road to go back to the pits. I believe it was Julie, I think, was still racing for her first round. So the team was standing on the starting line when we're driving back at the same time. So I ran to my parents, got to celebrate with them. So that was such a special moment to be able to be with them on the starting line and celebrate that moment. And then.
Well, wait. Here's my version of that story. Yeah. It was dark, right? Like there was one of those long nights, and Alan had taken over the announcing. I had just been on the mic for a while. So I went over into the media center, and people are talking to me, but I'm always like monitoring, right? Like monitoring what's going on. And I saw you on the track, and I saw the car going, and we've been talking about that record, Reichert's record, for, 15 years. Like it's been a long time. Like, would we get there? No, it's impossible. And you guys have been sneaking up on it. And see the O on the board, and I just went crazy in the media center. Like, there it is, history, shattered, broken record. For one of the longest standing records we had ever seen is no more. And it was just such a big moment, but it had to be a fluke because it was late night, it was cold and one off. Nope, you guys were able to dial up another one. Tell us.
Yeah, and what's kind of funny is we, of course, we're celebrating that night. There really wasn't many other teams that came up and congratulated us. And, you kind of know what to expect, especially because after winning the championship, there are some of the teams that kind of treat you a little differently. They, they're either it's their ego, they're a little bit jealous, they don't think you deserve it, they think you got lucky. And so it's kind of that same treatment with other race teams. There are certain ones that thought there's an error with the timing, like the computer messed up, like it wasn't real. Well, we showed them and did it again in third round, running a 5:09 with the 0. And you know what? I think the car had a little bit more in it. I think we could have done an 8 if we, changed the tune up a little bit more.
Yeah, come on, Randy, get with the program, really. And it has been all immortalized in your new T-shirt that is available. And you sent me this photo, and it's just awesome. That's a great shirt with a 5090. That it's really a massive deal for the top alcohol dragster category. I had shared this with a few people, just the idea, and they were like, wow, so they're inside a 10th from running 4s. And like that was something to get the mind around. Now it could end up taking another 10 years, or maybe it won't, but it's just a major milestone to crack the next number from 10 to 9. It's a huge 100th of a second.
Yeah, and we've gotten close. Julie and I have both ran 11s. So we've been just right on the border there with that 10. But I mean, I had no idea that. I don't know if we were actually even going for the 9, or if it just all the pieces fell into place and it just happened at the right time at the right place. But of course, NHRA's tech guys came over and monitored everything, and everything passed. So we're not cheating or trying to do anything differently. It's just our combination works. And so yeah, it is what it is. We slowed down to, I think it was like a 14 or maybe a 12 in the final round. So got the win again for the second year in a row at the U.S. Nationals, which was amazing. And it was a great start for us to kick off kind of our series for the national standings. So then at that point, I was tied for first with Cowie, who Sean Cowie and Joey Severance are the two guys that are our biggest competitors right now, because they're the ones that have been leading points. They're always the top guys that are still in eliminations at the very end. So we have to push it as hard as we can to try to keep up with them, because certain tracks they have advantages at because they are the blower cars. But there are certain tracks where we have the advantage. So it kind of evens itself out. So going on from there, we had a regional race, which didn't do that great at. Again, I think it just had more to do with we didn't back down the car enough for that track. But then I lost first round again. So it kind of seemed like last year I either lost first round or I won the race. I didn't really go out much in any other eliminations other than first round. But because I didn't do that great on the regional side, my sister won the regional championship for her first time. So she's come in second the past couple of years while I've been in first. This year, it's the other way around. So, and I'm so happy for her for winning it the first time. We're just really bummed out that there's no banquets this year to celebrate it.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And it's sad, but it counts nonetheless. And when we all are in a position where we can all get back to that, we're going to celebrate all of these things at the same time, whenever it is. And I fully expect it to be at the end of this year. We're slowly getting back to normal with, health issues and vaccines and all that stuff rolling out. It's going to take a little bit of time. We got some people weighing in with some questions, and I'm going to pump their questions in at the same time, and we'll just continue to bounce around because I want to talk about the moment you locked down the championship. But Tim wants to know, what about this year? Like, all right, who's driving the car at the Gators in March? This guy wants to know.
Well, I can tell you Julie will be there driving her car, and I can't really tell you yet who's going to be driving my car, but if you stay tuned on the Rainy My Racing page Monday next week, we will be announcing it officially, who's going to be taking my place.
Okay, so Julie is going to be there in her
Yes.
Randy Meyer Racing car that she's going to chase the championship in this year. But your car, the champion car, is of right now, we don't know exactly. It's a big mystery. You're teasing us with breaking news that's going to happen Monday, just a couple of days from now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, like Monday, like who knows what's going to happen Monday? Maybe you should just tell us now since everybody's interested, like a little teaser, like a little bit of information for the WFO universe out there.
Well, I think maybe you should just be a little bit more patient, but I can tell you it is someone that has a lot of experience on the track, someone that has won races before in an alcohol car. So we do, we have a lot of rental drivers that join the team. And so we have this whole process that we go through to qualify people to make sure that it is someone that has enough experience to be able to license first on our team, and then someone that can go out and do some races. So this is someone, we had a lot of expectations for someone to replace me because it's a big role. It's the championship car. And, it's someone that had to pass my dad's expectations as well as my expectations. So this person is very qualified, and I think you'll be really happy to hear who it is on Monday.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay, listen, no, I'm not going to pressure you. I know now that it is not me, which is okay. That's fine. I don't qualify for any of those things, but this is something to look forward to now. So let's get everybody, share this video, get everybody excited, and then you'll be releasing it on the page. Now, NGK, what's up with them? Are they tied to you or are they tied to the car? They were so excited about your success and the way you were able to win back-to-back championships from your first sponsored race. What's the state of that relationship?
I almost did not retire because of NGK. So our relationship is so close with them, being built over the last couple of years with them being my title sponsor. We have done so much being involved with them outside of the racetrack. And they are a second family for us, not just for me, but for my entire family and for our crew guys. They treat us so well. And we met with them in person. And that was when I told them that I decided 2020 was going to be my last year. And it was actually a really emotional meeting. And I almost changed my mind because they didn't want to see me go. And it was just, I almost changed my mind, but I know that motherhood and starting a family is the next step that I want to take. I'm ready for that. And so I stuck with my decision, but, they have been so great with us. We've worked with them for years. They were just a product sponsor for us, but we kept building relationships with them to eventually become a funding and a title sponsor for us. And that's what I encourage all other racers to do, is to keep at it and keep building those relationships and networking connection, because you never know what's going to happen. So they are staying on with the team, thankfully. And that will also be some news on Monday.
Oh, okay. So listen, we're like chipping away at it. I never like to pressure people into revealing because you've got a rollout, but this is making it exciting. It's going on the radar, and certainly everybody will pay attention. So experienced driver who's had success. Well, it makes sense, right? You're giving us pieces of the story. If NGK is staying with you, without you, you need to be able to replace yourself with someone who could maybe give them similar results. You don't have time to put someone in there to, gain experience. You want to go out and chase a championship. Certainly the car is capable of it. And your dad and the guys, everybody, they're used to winning. So to take a step back, I'm really interested to find out who the person is. It's going to be good. All right. That's my last question on this front.
Yeah, no, you nailed it on the head. That's exactly right.
Excellent. All right. So what are you going to be doing? Like, tell me about the moment you became a champion for the second time, because we see some of these, like just the emotion pouring over you. You never seem this emotional at the track while you're in the fight, but when the fight is over, you let it all come out. Tell us.
Yeah. I feel like I'm one of those people that hides emotions pretty well, or I'm like, when I'm at the racetrack, I'm in the zone and I'm, I got my blinders on. Don't talk to me. I'm focused. Doesn't matter who you are. Don't distract me because I'm here to do one job, and that job is to win. And I don't really show emotion because I'm just there for my job. But it wasn't until the moment we won the race. Actually, okay, so there's been 2 times where I have cried at the races, actually 3 times. The first one was winning my first race in Charlotte. The next one was winning or beating Sean Cowie's second round at Charlotte last year, which then helped us win the championship. The third time was winning it after the final round, after beating Joey Severance at Vegas last year. Wow. And it was just, it's still, thinking about it brings tears to my eyes. And I did have a documentary video that we just launched a couple weeks ago. It's on our YouTube and on my Facebook if you guys want to go watch it. I documented every single race last year because I knew it was going to be my last race. And it makes me cry every single time I watch it, just all the emotions and the roller coaster year that we had last year. But man, and you know what's funny? I wasn't even really thinking about the championship when I got to Vegas. And a lot of people don't believe me about that because there was so many different scenarios that had to happen for us to be able to win. All the hard hitters had to go out early for us to be able to clinch it like we did in Charlotte. And, it didn't really happen until the semifinals. And there's so many, there was the regional race after. And so everyone was saying, well, it doesn't matter what happens here. It's what matters is what happens at the regional race because that will determine who's the champion. So I wasn't even really thinking about it. I didn't know it was going to be a possibility. And also it was my first time ever racing in Vegas. So I was just focused on, okay, doing my job. This is a track I've never been to other than just working. I've never been down the track before. So I want to make sure I'm comfortable. I know exactly where everything is when I am on the track. And then also the fact that the altitude affects our cars so much. So there's just already doubt in our minds going out to Vegas, thinking that there's not a chance for us. We've never won this race before. We've gotten to the finals before, but we've never won the race. Our chance of winning the race is very small because the blower cars have such an advantage out there than we do. So
you lowered your expectations a lot. You lowered them completely, and then you over-delivered.
Yeah, exactly. So we kicked off qualifying running in 5:15, secured the number 1 spot, which was amazing. Another like mic drop moment for a nitro car to run a 5:15 out there. And then we got a little bit of luck in the eliminations. I had, oh my goodness, I can't remember his name. Johnny on first round, and he had a steering wheel issue. So he broke in first round. So that was kind of lucky for us. Second round, I was supposed to run Julie. But I got lucky because she couldn't make the run. So what happened was we've been on the road pretty much since Gainesville. So we were on the road for about a month, and we had actually been going through our motors and our parts pretty quickly. So the weekend of Houston, we blew up a motor in Julie's car, which was the weekend that I got married at. So my dad wasn't even at the racetrack. He was with me at our wedding back home in Kansas City. And that was just a crazy weekend of itself because we won Dallas and we won Indy. There was a chance that we could win the championship, but I needed more points because, like I said earlier, Cowie had won Pomona. So he had 85 points on us that we couldn't collect because there wouldn't be another race we could go to that he could skip or throw away. So I showed up at Houston 2 days before my wedding, and I swore to my fiance at the time, I swore to him that I was not going to go to Houston. And it wasn't until we were driving home from Dallas on Monday after winning the race, and my dad talked me into flying into Houston to make one qualifying pass, get 30 points, and then fly back home. And he's like, it'll be a couple hours. You'll be there, and then you'll be right back home. No big deal. I was like, okay. So I called Adam, and he agreed, but he's like, I have a bad feeling about this. And I was like, no, like, it'll be fine. Like, trust me, it's okay. Well, that backfired because it rained all day Friday when we were supposed to make our qualifying run. So I flew into Houston Friday morning. We were supposed to run at like 4:00, and then my flight was at 7:00 that night to go back home. Well, we didn't get to qualify until 7:00 because it rained all day. And thankfully, NHRA kind of moved the schedule around and let alcohol cars make their qualifying pass before the other sportsman cars. And so, but I missed my flight, and my dad was supposed to fly home with me because obviously he's in the wedding. So we were actually thinking about driving home, which was like a 14-hour drive.
Right.
And we were looking at all the different flights we could book. And so thankfully there was one Saturday morning that wasn't too expensive. So we booked that flight, got home about noon on Saturday, had to go home to get everything packed up, ready to go to the hotel and do the rehearsal. And it was crazy. And
that 30 points though.
Yeah.
That made a difference.
It did. It helped. It made all the difference for us. So, but Julie ended up getting the runner-up at Houston. Unfortunately, she lost to Cowie in the final though. But anyways, back what I was saying, we blew up the motor in her car, making that run. So we had to put a new motor in her car, going into Vegas. Well, then that motor, for some reason, the cranks and bearings and all that, the bottom end part wasn't happy. And it only had like 3 runs on it, and it blew up again, first round of eliminations for her out at Vegas. So, but also I blew up my motor in qualifying at Vegas. So unfortunately we only had one motor left in our trailer because we had been on the road for a while and we didn't have any other spare parts. We had put the last motor that we had in my car because it blew up in qualifying, and then hers blew up in first round. And we were just like, can we get a break? And so Julie and I were paired up for second round, and there was no way we were going to be able to run her car. So I got a free run in second round. And then I don't remember who I ran in the semifinals at Vegas. But Cowie and Joey had to run each other, and it was probably the second biggest run of that whole weekend. And it was because Joey took out Sean, and no one was really expecting that because Joey has kind of been struggling all year, but he was picking up speed and picking up power. And so he got the win over Cowie, which really helped us out in points because then that opened the door for us to get past him by just enough to get the win, if only if we had won the race and then win the championship. So it was a mad thrash because those two guys are usually enemies, but because the championship was on the line, Cowie gave him his spare motor because chances are Joey blew up his last motor and didn't have any other spare parts.
How crazy.
He came over and told us that he couldn't make the run and that we were going to have a bye in the final round. And, we didn't change anything with our cars. It was actually a quick turnaround for us because that motor that we had in my car was happy. So we didn't have to really change much other than just our normal maintenance that we do between rounds. But so Cowie, they're parked right next to us. So we're seeing this whole thing happen right before our eyes. All these other guys, all these other teams are coming over, helping him put Cowie's motor in Joey's car. And they are completely different. Like they run different heads, different blocks. Joey's got the Noonan, Cowie's got the Bright Anderson. And it was crazy because everything also, the fuel and ignition, all that was switched. So they had to reverse everything and rewire all the race pack and all the stuff. Like there's so much that goes into it. And, thankfully we had like 3 hours between the semis and the finals because they are still running the pros and all the other sportsman cars. So they finished just in time They got it warmed up, and everyone was cheering, and they're all happy because it worked. And so going into the staging lanes, it's just split because there's people that are for the blower cars, and then there's people for the nitro cars in the staging lanes. So we get up to the line, and we have no idea what to expect because obviously they've never ran this motor before. They have no idea if it's going to work. Right. They did a warm up and they did a burnout. Everything seemed fine. I was just kind of focused on doing my normal deal. But at the same time, I was all up in my head because I realized this is my last pass I'm ever going to make. This is my last run. This is my last race. Like, I'm not going to be here in this moment ever again, or unless I come back in 5 years or whatever.
Right. Definitely not something you want to be thinking actively while you're running for the championship.
Yeah. While I'm staging the car, I'm thinking this, and I got it in my head, and I mean, everyone's giving me shit about this because I had a 170 light, and Joey, who is really good on the tree, has a 015 light, and I just got distracted. Like I said, I was in my head. I wasn't even looking at the Christmas tree. I was looking at the finish line, just thinking, this is it. This is my last one. Like, I better do my best. I better give it my all because who knows what's going to happen. And so it was just crazy. So I actually heard him leave before I stepped on the gas pedal. And he was out front until about 3:30. And they said he's trying to shift it into second gear, and the motor just completely died. So it gave us a chance to get around him to win the race because the driver didn't do her job on the tree, which is like the only job that I have. So we got lucky, won the race.
W. You got the W or whatever. Yeah. You're the champ. That's if you extrapolate all the luck and the chaos of every season at any point, everybody gets some, everybody pays some. What a dramatic way, though, to become a champion.
It was so dramatic. And like I said, I wasn't really thinking much about the championship, more about just winning a race that I've never been at before. And it wasn't until the guys handed me the Wally and told me, okay, Glenn is going to hand you the other Wally, and you're going to go up on stage and talk to Amanda. And I looked at him and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I've already got the trophy. And he's like, no, like, Glenn's going to give you the championship trophy. And I was like, wait, like we did it? Like, that was enough? Like, that's all we had to do was just for him to go out in the semis and then for us to win the race? Like, what about next weekend? Like, there's another race. And they're like, no, like, that was just enough. You got the win. Like, you got the championship. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I didn't even know what to say. And so the whole time I'm up on stage speaking to Amanda, I'm just crying and I can't breathe through my mask. And I'm just like, I don't even remember what I said up there, but it was just a chaotic weekend. It was so emotional for us.
Well, and that's how it's supposed to be. You just detailed out the script of a movie in that the thrash, the drama at the end, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. But you came out on top as the champion, and now you are back-to-back top alcohol dragster champion. You say you're retired forever. You're not. You're going to be back. We know it. I know it. But you got to do some important things for life now over the next however many years, bringing a young one into the world. But what are you going to be doing to supplement it? I mean, I know you've got your social media business and you're doing a lot of different things to help racers with their marketing programs, et cetera. So it's not like you're stepping away from drag racing at all. This shirt is awesome. People are going to be able to get that. But what is going to keep you active? Like, are you going to be, I don't imagine you're going to be going to the track with the team, or are you?
I am for the first half of the season. So I am doing August. So obviously second half, I won't be able to come to the races. I'll be busy with the baby. But for the first half, I do plan on coming out to a couple of the races. So I will be in Gainesville, and I'm really excited to kick off the season there. And, you know, helping out our new driver on the team, get them, you know, ready to go for being on national TV and all that stuff.
Right. Media coaching is very important. That's get them all coached up, him or her, whoever it be.
Yes, exactly. So I am going to be helping out a couple other race teams with their social media and marketing, stuff like that. I'm still doing a lot of stuff online. Like I have an online course that racers can take for social media, or if they want to do, like some one-on-one stuff, I've also been offering that during the off season to other races. And it's been pretty cool because I've been able to work with racers all around the world, and it's mostly drag racers, but also a couple others like dirt track. There's been like motorcycles and stuff like that. So it's been pretty cool just because these are people that I've met on social media, and now we're getting to work together, and I've been able to help them out so that way they can find more sponsorship and get more funding and go more racing.
I love it. Speaking of which, Joe Morrison, who is running Top Fuel this year, he's graduated from your Driven by Social and Fueled and Funded courses. He says he recommends both courses. But what about Joe? Is he any good?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean, like as a student or on the track?
I'm just giving you an opportunity to throw a shot. I know he's good. He's a good guy. But yeah, social media wise.
One of my favorite students that I had. So I'm really happy for him because he's been able to secure some sponsorship.
There you go. So it's a proof positive it works. That's great. Megan, awesome stuff. Super excited. We'll be watching for the big announcement. Where can they get the t-shirts if they want to dive in?
Yes, you can get it either directly on our Facebook pages, both Randy Meyer Racing and Megan Meyer Racing, or you can get it on our website, the randymeyerracing.com website.
Super excited. All right, let's talk social stuff.
Yeah.
Tobler's retiring. I know you're like a, wine night regular, and you recognize the significance of a person like Ron Tobler. Like the guy is the social / spiritual center of the nitro pits, right? Yeah. I've been trying hard to put this into words so that all who are just fans can genuinely understand the significance of this retirement. How about you take a shot at it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't just affect Cap's team and the Napa team. It affects all of us racers. And it wasn't just the pro teams that would come over and hang out for wine night. It was anybody was welcome, whether you were in the media or announcers for NHRA, or you were other racers, or you were just a crew guy. Everyone was welcomed to the Napa pits Saturday nights for wine night. And it was just a great time. And it brought us all together. We left the competition at the door. We just got to hang out, get some free wine. That was really good. Listen to some good music and hang out. It wasn't a COVID recommended situation, but it really impacted us, just built friendships and relationships there, just like how you network with someone when you're at like a trade show or something like that. Right. But yeah, I mean, I really respect his decision. Obviously, with me retiring and him announcing his retirement, it's something that I really respect. Thinking of your future and thinking of that next step that you want to take in life. But at the same time, it is going to be a very big impact, and he's going to be very missed by everybody at the racetrack.
Yes, exactly. Well, I actually think, and I've texted with him, and he says he's going to come on the show at some point.
Good.
I think that the lack of the social aspect of it because of the COVID and the pandemic has to make it less fun for a guy like Ron Tobler, right? Like with all the rules, and he's used to this whole world of friends and colleagues and these long 30-year relationships or longer. And just what you just described, to have that all of a sudden be a potentially dangerous situation, that takes a lot of the fun out of it, a lot of the human element out of it. And so I'm not suggesting that's the reason or part of the reason, but it would be for me if all of a sudden something that I really enjoyed was no longer an acceptable part of the deal. So we'll see. But yes, congratulations to Ron Tobler on following your lead into retirement.
Yes, yeah. And some of the people may not know, but I've known Tobler pretty much my whole life. And so what's really interesting is he likes to say it was when I was a baby, but my mom kind of has another story. So we're not exactly sure what the real story is, but sometime in the 90s, he was a tuner for my dad, and my dad did Top Fuel for a handful of years. So he was out there racing with Shirley and Don and all those guys. So he was a crew chief on our team for just a little bit, because I know we blew up a lot of parts, and we were kind of ran out of money to keep paying him to be our crew chief. But yeah, so we go way back. He's always been someone there. If I am having a bad day at the racetrack, or if we lost early in eliminations, he's always someone that can comfort me and, help me work through the situation, get me pumped up for the next race. And also just if there's any advice that I need, because he has so many years of experience being in the sport, it's someone that I can go to for advice or for help, and just to be a friend.
Absolutely. Have you considered naming the little one Ron with an H? Is that on the table?
I have not, but that is now on the table. We haven't even thought about names yet. So, and as far as gender, I think we're going to try to wait until we have the baby. I think if I can be patient enough.
No reveal party. Like that's, it started a big forest fire, millions of economic catastrophe. Those gender reveal things are so 2020 and previous. 2021, we're doing something different. This is your chance to create like this new thing where people just show patience and wait and be surprised. How about it?
We'll see. I really did want to do a gender reveal party because I'm like that, but my husband says no, absolutely not. So
on this one, sorry,
we'll see. I think that's just a guy thing, though.
It is. We hate. That's pretty simple, But hey, you do your thing. You do your thing. I'll watch. I'll share it whenever it comes. Yeah. Regardless, and I wish you luck. Do you have? I know you're not supposed to say this. I'm not even going to ask you if you have a preference or not. You want both. You said both. You want a boy. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're a boy. I think everyone I've talked to so far has said boy. And I think that's because just I come from racing, and my husband comes from racing. And so it's more of a manly sport. But as me and my sister have proven, and Julie as well, it's not always for the guys. So I'm completely, I will go either way. I know that whatever we have, they are going to be involved in racing somehow in some way. Else. It doesn't have to be drag racing. I mean, it could be dirt bikes because that's what my husband does, but drag racing is a little bit safer. So I'm leaning that way. And we kept my sister's junior dragster. So in 5 years, we can take that one out.
Already planning it out. I love it. Megan, thank you very much. Congratulations on your back-to-back championships in the Lucas Oil Series Top Alcohol Dragster category. Thank you for spending time with us here on WFO Radio Podcast and always being so helpful with us and everything we've been doing over your time in the NHRA. It has been great. I'm super happy for you, and I'm just excited. The Gator Nationals are right around the corner. It's not far off. We're going to be racing, and I really believe that things are getting better and better, and we'll get back to the point where we can see each other at the racetrack. But thank you. Any final thoughts for the audience and fans out there?
No, just thank you. I mean, this might be my last time being able to talk to you guys, on camera and stuff. So I really appreciate everyone that has supported me over the past 5-6 years, going through this journey from a rookie to now 2-time champ. And I want to especially thank you, Joe, because you helped me from the very beginning when I was just a nobody. So I really appreciate the chance to be on WFO for the past couple of years.
Oh, of course. And what it says is that I can recognize talent in advance. And that's exactly what it was. It's like, oh, this is definitely going to be something big right here. There's no doubt. Let's get Megan Meyer on the air ASAP so that the WFO universe can follow the journey from licensing to first race to first win to first championship to second championship to mic drop retirement and a record 5-0 run and now family. So thank you, Megan. It has been fun. And we obviously, when you're ready, you're welcome back anytime.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it. Bye, Megan.
Bye, everybody.
Megan Meyer with us here on WFO Radio. Megan Meyer-Lingner with us here on WFO Radio. And it's funny, she says drag racing is safer than supercross or motocross. And I think it is, as far as keeping your joints and everything flowing and moving as they are originally intended. Drag racing can be very dangerous, but the getting busted up over there in bikes, that's a different story. All right, put your comments in the comment section. Final comments. I'm going to go over some of the news that we did not cover yesterday. I want everybody obviously to check out the YouTube video. if you want to see, like you just saw a professional drag racer, someone who is sponsored, who is a world champion, who takes it extremely seriously. If you want to see the opposite end of the spectrum, the first rung of the ladder, like some basic Joe Schmo bracket racer in a street car, banging his head against the wall, trying to do his best on a Saturday, go to WFOradio.com or our YouTube page and watch my video from last Saturday. One-man production, did my best, raced against a bunch of cool cars, and tried to explain the methodology of bracket racing to anyone who might be interested for the purpose of encouraging you to do it. This is a stop talking about it and start doing it kind of situation. That's up on YouTube. And of course, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next one. I've already heard that the next points night is February 13th. Maybe I'll get out there. And, it's not an NHRA facility. I wish it was an NHRA facility. I would love for there to be an NHRA facility nearby me. Of course, I have permission to run there and be there. But drag racing is drag racing. And it was a whole lot of fun. Final thought. Okay, here we go. Jeff Barker, full year, pro mod, low Toyota. And it's going to be a Toyota. That's the news. And I got to give Barker credit for, what's it going to be? Is it going to be a decaled up Camaro? Are they going to make some body changes? I don't know. But I think that given the challenges out there in the world, if we could do something to encourage some Toyotas to be involved in door slammer drag racing, you got to do it. So good job, Jeff Barker. Not only being an excellent driver and a former top sportsman world champion, but thinking outside of the constraints of what we currently have. And you never know. Maybe the folks at Toyota say, wow, what a great idea. Let's get a pro stock car. What a great idea. All the engines are the same. Let's get a Camry body and get out there. Who knows? And I know some fans are going to hate that. And good, you can root against Jeff. I don't know why you would want to do that, though. Also, Scrappers Racing returns to the Gator Nationals. Mike Salinas, Scrappers Racing. John Kernan got a good little bit up on NHRA's website. Go check it out. But Brian Hewson and that team are going to be back. So there you go. In the good news, bad news, COVID universe, the wake of COVID, we have got a little more good news. And Mike Salinas, good guy, watching his arc, gets to the point where he's a competitor, battling for championships. And then, of course, the pandemic hits. So they took some time off. He'll be back. And he'll be back at the Gator Nationals. Also, NHRA starting their own. Look, I'm looking down at my notes. Like, what's the next note? NHRA started their own streaming service. And the divisional races will be complimentary streamed on NHRA.tv. And hopefully they're able to share it out there and to places where people are. And obviously it's, the old give it away at free at first. Like if you get used to watching divisional racing and have a good time with it, then you'll purchase the Camping World Drag Racing package and you'll watch it. Now, I love NHRA.tv. You can go to the net, you find people that like it and hate it. And, they had a internet glitch or there was a problem. And, there's only so much we can do for those people. I can tell you uptime like 85, 90%. And when you're streaming all day long, like my regular internet doesn't last, as you've seen over the past couple of weeks when we had that big AT&T outage. I'm super excited and we've announced it, but I'll announce it again. I will be the track announcer for the historic first ever broadcast coming up at Ozzy's Orlando Speed World Dragway, February 5th and 6th. And we'll be doing NHRA Southeastern Division Racing. And it's going to be great. Cody and the whole team down there, they've reached out to me, and I know I'm from Florida. And I like to think that if there's drag racing in Florida, that I would like to be involved as best as I can. So I got the invite to go up to Orlando Speed World, and I will be calling the action. And I will be shouting out to all you folks on our Facebook and YouTube page to get in there and watch. And of course, racers, if you're going to be there and you've got some news and you want me to know about it and, give you shout outs on the microphone with whatever it is, send it to me. Get me on the Facebook or on the Twitter or on the Insta, or you can email me, joe@wforadio.com, and I will put it out there and we'll try to have fun and make it entertaining all day long, the 5th and 6th, and working on some other stuff at Orlando Speed World as well. So stick around for that. And I'm also on for the Gator Nationals. Shout out to the sponsors, Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. While you folks put your comments in the comments section, final parting thoughts on Megan, her championship, and the interview that was. I think it's exciting. I pressured her a little bit about finding out who the driver was going to be. That's a good bet. Like, I don't even know at all. I don't know who it is going to be. I got a couple of everybody knows. I don't want to say any names, right? Like, I don't want to say any names. I'll say Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure at frankhawley.com. Check him out. Megan endorses. Simple as that. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. I already mentioned Total Seal. Got a brand new Total Seal podcast coming out tomorrow. John Callie's Crankshaft, Morel Lifters, but he was the head of Pontiac Motorsports during what I deem to be the golden era, the mid-1980s, when Pontiac was running over everybody and doing twice and three times what the other makes were doing with a third of the budget. And one of the reasons why I'm a Pontiac guy, even though they were using corporate engines at that time, still. Big happy birthday to Randy Lynn Ship, belated. Randy Lynn yesterday. It was Randy Lynn's birthday. Happy birthday, Randy Lynn. And Nitro Fish and the promo code WFO20. You should be using it when you get your gear off Nitro Fish Racing. But the WFO store right now, our own in-house stuff. We got the WFO radio face coverings, just $10, and you get a couple of WFO stickers in there. And we have broken out the brand new WFO logo t-shirts. And, you'd think if I folded it up, I would fold it up with the logo out, but I did not. Boom. That's in the WFO store as well, as seen in the big YouTube video. All right, it's time to end the show, but let's find out what everybody's got to say out there. Let's find out what they have to say. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time, same time slot, Doug Coletta and Tony Merritt from Mac Tools going to be talking about the relationship, the ongoing relationship, the extended sponsorship relationship between Doug Coletta and Mac Tools. That will be happening tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Be ready, Air Doug, tomorrow. Yes. And I'm very excited about it for Doug to be back. Let's see what else. Monica, great interview. Love her energy. Yes, love Megan's energy. My side of the story is I met her somewhere. I know it's Randy's daughter, and you could just tell. I think I can. And I could just tell that she was going to be successful. Did I know she was going to be a 2-time back-to-back world champion? Yes, of course I did. Absolutely. That's why. And that's why, we tracked her career from start to this point. Let's see what Dave says. Dave says, another great show and interview with a great sportsman champion. Thanks, Joe, for all you do in the sport of drag racing. Thank you, Dave. Yes. Sportsman. I like to say Lucas Oil Series because Lucas Oil spends a lot of money. And while they're not a direct WFO radio sponsor, they sponsor all of these series. And so I always really work hard to try to get people to eliminate the word sportsman from their vocabulary and talk about the people who actually spend the big money to attach themselves to that series. That's just like a little mini rant. If you want to see a real rant, watch my YouTube video. My great gig. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a good gig. Let's see. Great show as usual. Thanks, Joe. And that's it. That's all everybody's got, which works for me. I'm out of here, baby. I'm out of here. We got an Ignition podcast in the archive, WFO Ignition, where we talk about everything but racing, but we talk about some racing too. But I talk about my South Florida talk radio career and my connection to the passing of Larry King, the icon Larry King, and the feud that was happening with the talk show host that I worked with and Larry King, and how I'm connected to all of it. But really, it's, if you like talk radio, it's a deep dive into talk radio history, at least of South Florida and Larry King and Phil Hendry, which it should be interesting. You think about television history, that's real easy. We'll just show you. Talk radio history, it's a lot harder because it's spread out throughout the country and audio clips are challenging. We've got one on the Ignition show. Check it out. And I can also tell you about the time I almost died. Simple as that. How about those WFO stickers? Joe Castello, how about them? We got them all over the place. We're sending them out. We're sending them out for free. Go to the WFO store to find out how. Or just get the face mask. That's the way to do it. Better way. I think. The YouTube video, Joe Goes Bracket Racing. I would obviously love to get ourselves over 1,000 subscribers is really the reason we're doing all this. That's the big number. You got to get to 1,000 subscribers. Big thanks to these folks, our sponsors who make it possible. Rodax, and Total Seal, Frank Hawley's, and Samtech. And since I'm still using the Santacor at the racetrack, thank you guys for keeping me safe and jumping on board with WFO Radio. Had some new people reach out about being a sponsor on the show. Email me, joe@wforadio.com, and Megan Meyer. It has really turned into something special. But Rachel got in her head, and that lasts forever. All right, guys. See you next time tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, WFO.